It's been a long time coming and now it's finally happening. Ballistic expert Christopher Mangena is finally being cross-examined. Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Inside the Courtroom, the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial. I'm Linda Mnisi. Now, the evidence of what is possibly the most crucial part of this case is finally being tested. It took over a year for the defense to finally get the ball rolling on cross-examining Christopher Mangena, and it started with the version of accused number one. Christopher Mangena's evidence is crucial in the sense that it gives insights into the police's investigation at the crime scene, the ballistics related evidence found there, and most importantly, the links between the gun, bullet, and the trigger puller. Last year, Mangena told the court that his test bullet matched the bullet found at the crime scene. This bullet was fired from a gun that was allegedly recovered from accused number 3. Accused number 1's lawyer kick-started the proceedings by touching on the version of his client. Muzisibia's version is in two folds. 1, that he was not in Gauteng when the soccer star was gunned down. 2, that it was in fact Longwe Twala, the son of music legend Chico Twala, who killed Meyiwa during a struggle in the Khumalo home using a .38 special.
I'll put it further to you that the firearm that Longwe used to shoot Senzo was a .38 special revolver, not a 9mm.
My lord, there was no evidence of a .38 special revolver or any revolver at the crime scene. The only evidence that was at the crime scene was a 9mm bullet.
Mangena told the court that Chico Twala's firearm was brought in for testing and it did not match the bullet that was found at the crime scene, ruling it out as the murder weapon.
You are saying that the firearm which you tested, which was accompanied by a license.
Correct.
That's correct, my lord.
Was negative. You both agree.
Yes.
And now you are saying your learned colleague Baloi informs you that the license of that firearm, of the license which was
Tested.
seen
Yes.
by the panel here,
Yes.
was belonging to Chico.
That's correct.
Is that also how you understand the evidence?
That's correct.
Right. Now, this court doesn't know that firearm which allegedly was accompanied by a license from which belongs to Chico. What type of firearm is that? Is it a .38 special? Is it an AK-47? Because this you gloss over, both of you.
It has been described, my lord, in
That's
paragraph
what?
3.1.
Yes, we want to hear him say it. Or you tell him that it is this, because you have already told him that Longway shot Senzo with a .38 special.
Correct, yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
So that firearm, what was it?
It's a 9mm. It's described in paragraph 3.1.
Paragraph 3.1. It was
It's a 9mm.
One 9mm parabellum.
It's not a .38 special.
No, my lord, it's not a .38 special.
Fine. So that everybody understands.
Longwe Twala was amongst the people who were in the Khumalo home before Senzo Meyiwa was killed. What is in dispute is whether he was in the house when the fatal shot went off or had run out as suggested by the witnesses who were inside the house. But his presence in the house is the basis in which Mngomezulu is using to link Chico Twala's firearm to Longwe. It is the evidence of Christopher Mangena that 2 shots were fired in the house, and he has based this on what he says is the physical evidence from the house. He also told the court that he visited the scene the day after the shooting to take measurements for the purposes of a crime scene reconstruction. But Mngomezulu disagrees with this. He says 3 shots were fired.
You relied on what you were given as exhibits that were found in the crime scene. Correct?
My lord, not on what I was given or not what was said to me, but based on the physical evidence that was there on the crime scene. It's only 2 shots fired.
Let me tell you another exhibit that was not found in the crime scene. That exhibit was with Longwe until it was taken out of his foot on his ankle. Let me put it this way. There were 3 shots that were fired. I'll call that witness who will come in. give evidence.
What's his name, if the court may know?
I may not divulge the...
Why not?
My Lord,
That's the defense. Okay, but just listen to me.
yes.
You are obligated. There's no proof or onus on you to prove anything.
Yes.
But you are obligated in terms of the case of State versus Crossley, it was done by my brother Malulega, that you must put your version. Okay,
Yes, I
you're not
understand.
forced, but if you don't,
May I just address the court in
Yeah,
relation
fine.
to the safety of those witnesses, my Lord? Their identity cannot be said openly in court because they still have to apply for the protection of such witnesses.
For the first time, Mngomezulu gave details of what his client, Muzi Sibia, believes happened after the fatal shot went off.
Long way after that incident, that wound became septic and he went to a doctor, the late Dr. Mbatsane, who referred Longwe Twala to Dr. Modise in Rand Hospital, where a bullet was taken from Longwe's foot. Do you have any comment on that?
My Lord, I cannot comment on that because I don't know anything of the injuries that Longwe sustained at the scene.
I just wanted to demonstrate that there were 3 shots that were fired. And the last shot, and the other shot is the one that shot Senzo, and eventually he lost his life. There were 3 shots, not 2 shots.
My Lord, I'm still repeating what I said. I can only account for 2 shots that I found at the scene. The third one, I don't know.
Mangena says anyone who was close when the first shot went off could have been injured. It was the evidence of Zandi Kumalo, the sister of singer Kelly Kumalo, that she was injured when the first shot went off.
Was it possible that even the shooter could be injured?
That's correct, my Lord. That possibility cannot be ruled out.
And after you have checked accused number 3 and you concluded that there were no injuries?
My Lord, not necessarily that there were no injuries.
Yes.
I could not see any scars because the fragments would be very small. They could have created very small scars. And if you look at the time when we conducted the test and the time of the incident, it's how many years passed. So the possibility that there could have been injuries and the wounds were healed and the scars were, because they were very small, I couldn't see them.
Mngomezulu read a statement from one of the officers who said that the witnesses reported that 3 shots had been fired, 2 in the house and 1 while the alleged assailants were fleeing the scene. Mangena says what is consistent with these findings is that 2 shots were fired in the house. He maintains that there were no other bullet damages in the house, which would suggest that another shot may have been fired. But there is also the issue of the firearm. Mngomezulu tells the court that a number of witnesses said they saw a revolver, which is why he says Meyiwa was killed by Longwe using a revolver. Mangena breaks down how they work at the scene.
My Lord, when you look at our crime scene
yeah.
or an incident, where does the incident start and where does the incident stop? How long does it take? All right. When we do incident reconstruction or crime scene reconstruction, my Lord, you divide it into a sequence of events. Your incidents may start when the perpetrators or the suspects enter the house. So they enter the house, the witnesses saw a revolver. After seeing the revolver, there was a struggle between the perpetrators and the witnesses. For the mere fact that they saw a revolver when they enter does not automatically say this is the firearm that was used. My Lord, I can say to the court I've got a BMW keys in my pocket. That does not necessarily mean when I leave this court I'll be driving a BMW. I might be driving another vehicle. So when we do crime scene reconstruction, we look at the physical evidence that is at the crime scene.
But you'd recall that there are allegations that the scene may have been tampered with by those who came in after the shooting incident. Mangena was asked about whether this would impact on his findings.
The fact that there are certain things that she did after the incident of shooting, is that not contamination?
That's why, my Lord, I said it might be contamination, but if he removed some of the object maybe from the crime scene. Those doesn't affect my findings. When I do my reconstruction, all the relevant evidence that was on the scene, I found it there. The position of the bullet was there, the bullet holes was there, and I could find all those things.
Upon your arrival or during the processing of the crime scene, did you see any blood on the floor?
I did find blood on the scene, and it was in the sitting room or the living room there.
So there was no blood in the kitchen?
There was no blood in the kitchen.
Mangena has defended his findings, saying the test bullet he fired from the firearm recovered from accused number 3 had consistent markings as the bullet recovered from the scene. He maintains that no two firearms can imprint the same unique markings, and the ones he found on the test bullet were sufficient to make for a positive match.
My Lord, as I said, my findings or my statements in the reconstruction of the crime scene are based on physical evidence that I got from the crime scene. Whether there were people on the scene, those people will not change my findings. My findings will still remain the same. Whether there was movement or there was contamination of the crime scene, but my findings will remain the same.
I agree with you. If you are giving the wrong exhibits, you'll do examination and give results according to what you are giving. But the concern that I'm raising is that witnesses, including the investigating officer, brought an application under Section 43 and mentioned a 38 special that was used.
My Lord, if we're saying I was given the wrong exhibits, if we look at the bullet fragment that was found in the crime scene, it's exactly consistent with the damage that is on the floor. And the shot was fired when those people were still inside, when there was the struggle or argument inside the kitchen. So it's consistent with it. Who will ever bring an exhibit that will fit exactly on your crime scene? It's not possible to do that.
After the break, we get into what the defense's expert says versus Mangena's evidence. Don't go anywhere.